In this next lesson, 7.1, Day 2, we are going to talk about bisectors. A bisector, it separates the segment into two. So because we have a midpoint, it bisects that segment into two congruent segments. So we can say that the midpoint bisects that segment. Any segment, line, plane, or point that bisects a segment is called a segment bisector. We then have already talked about congruent segments. So remember that we use our congruent symbol and we're talking about shapes and images, and the lengths are equal, but the segments are congruent. So the shapes themselves or the actual segments are congruent. So it's correct to say that AB would equal BC because those are measurements. And then it would be correct to say that segment AB is congruent to segment CD, the actual line itself there, that image. But we wouldn't want to say that segment AB is equal to segment CD. So it gets a little bit tricky, but if we have the little image up above here, the little symbol, we don't use an equal sign. Okay, so neither of these are correct. We need to either have congruence with our symbol or no symbol is equal, and that's measurements or numbers. All right, so down here, if we have the description given to us that Y is the midpoint, then that would mean that this segment and this segment are congruent because it bisects that segment. So we can go ahead and say that 3A is equal to A plus 14, and we can solve. So A equals 7. And it wants us to find the measure of xy. So this right here, if we look at what's the real question, not what is A, but what is xy, we're going to take and plug that back in for A. So 3 times 7, so 21 is xy. And notice I didn't use a symbol because it's an equals. All right. So this next one, I would like for you to try if Q is the midpoint of PR. What does that mean for this left segment and this right segment? It is just like that last one, and you are going to plug your value for X back in to find PR, the entire length of that segment, once you get the value for X. So go ahead and try it, push pause, and then push play when you're ready to check. Double check your answer that you set the left side equal to the right side. You got 4 for X, and then you're plugging it back into both of these and then adding those together, and you should have gotten 80 for the entire length of PR. Put PR in front. All right, this next one, we know that Q is the midpoint. So this segment and this segment are congruent, so we can either write out a 6 minus 3x here and then add them together, setting it equal to the total, or we can cut this total in half and then set it equal to this right side that we know. Either would work. Some people like to just kind of write in that other one there and then just add those two together and set it equal to the whole. And after combining like terms, we're going to get the x's together and then solve our two-step equation. And 10 divided by 20 is a half. So we're going to be plugging in 1/2 in for 6 minus 3x because we want to find PQ, which is 6 minus 3x. So 6 minus 3 times a half, which is 6 minus 1.5, which is 4.5 for PQ. And our last one, if you want to go ahead and try that one on your own, it is just like the one up above it, example 3. So go ahead and try it, push pause, try it, and check when you're ready. And on our example here, we get A is 3. When we take a 2a minus 1 plus a 2a minus 1 and set it equal to a 3a plus 1, and then we plug that 3 back in to find AC, so 3 times 3 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10 for that total length.